This is a guitar body to a new project that I'm working on. I'm also working on a new paint technique. These are the three colors, the metallic orange, and for contrast, metallic black and gray. But the big secret behind this paint technique is the use of some string and bubble wrap. The whole idea of this technique is really just multiple layers of paint of different colors, and to block sand once all the layers are dry, and you get unique little swirls and patterns and things like that. The first coat is really the most important. It's not supposed to go on perfectly. You can see drips and stuff and sags. Try to get a really wet, thick coat and then get the bubble wrap on as quickly as possible. And that's where the string comes in. That holds all the bubble wrap in place. And hopefully all that wet paint will kind of ooze around the bubble wrap, creating ridges and valleys and things like that in the paint. It's everything you're not supposed to do with a paint job. I add more paint and bubble wrap as I go along because this paint dries pretty quick, and it's all random. There's no specific place the bubble wrap has to go. The main thing behind this thing is it's just a lot of fun, goofy fun, but it really does turn out kind of neat. It's dried now for about 24 hours, and we're going to see what kind of patterns are underneath this bubble wrap. This is the kind of pattern I'm looking for. That's why that coat had to go on so thick. Everything you've been told not to do with paint. This was not a very even coat. There was runs and drips and everything else in it, but it needed to be that way so that it can form all these little hills and valleys around the bubble wrap. And what I'm going to do after this is I'm going to take those two colors of gray and I'm going to layer them on top of this. This time the coats will be nice even coats like a regular paint job would be. So it would be layer after layer of paint, and then when the paint's dry it'll be block sanded, and then what you're going to get is a cross section of all the colors. So there's going to be a lot of unique swirls and textures and all kinds of stuff. It's hard to describe because I really don't know what it's going to look like until it's done. This is where I'm going to put the multiple colors on the body to build up the layers. And the graphic is actually going to be mixed in each layer. It's not just going to be painted over the top. So what I'll do is I'll use this stencil for the white, and then as I spray the colors I will replace the stencil with this one. Really, this whole technique is based around things you're not supposed to do when you're painting. So ironically, you discover things by kind of climbing outside of the box every once in a while. This is the next color. It's the metallic black. Okay, I'm going to let that tack up for a few minutes and then we'll do a stencil. And this coat will be the lighter gray. And for this coat, and no stenciling, just the straight even coat of orange. Okay, here we go with the last stencil coat for this round. And we're going to let it sit and cure for about a week before we go ahead with another 3 coats, and then probably 3 coats after that. It's going to turn out looking really, really interesting. The unveiling. There we go. Oh, that looks kind of cool too. This coat is going to be another coat of orange. We're going to basically empty this can out. So it's a double coat of orange this time, and then we'll keep going with the other 2 colors. Okay, this time we're going with the light silver. Solid coat of white for the stencil this time. Okay, we're getting down near the end. This will be a straight coat of the black metallic. I'm guessing this will be the last coat of the light silver. Yep, that's the end of that one. Okay, here we are, another few days of letting it cure. Right now what I'm doing is kind of a cross hatching, so I'll go this way and then another pass this way and then I do a diagonal. You can see here where some of the design is starting to come out. That's the look I'm going for. This is just, you know, a random kind of a motley worn look, I guess you'd call it. I've taken it as far as I want to go with the 100 grit. What I want to do now though is give some of these corners and edges, some of the contours a little bit more wear, get some more wood showing. I've just finished sanding with 100 grit and I'm pretty much where I want it to be. I kind of like that look, but what I want to do now is wet sand with finer grit. I want to get rid of these aggressive sanding marks. Those all have to go, but the look is coming through. I really like what I've done here with the paint. It's really coming out nice. I like the color combinations, the different layers. But one thing I wasn't too happy with, or completely happy with, was the graphic that I'd put in the middle, the number 2, at least before I put the red on. The edge was kind of undefined, not very clear, and it just looked like a white blob. So my solution was to put a red pinstripe around all the edges, and that sure did define it. You can clearly see what it is, and it added a really neat color to the body to make it pop. And at this point what I've got to do is age it to catch up with the rest of the body before I continue on with the fine sanding. Especially in areas like here, that really doesn't look natural the way it comes out onto the wood. So I have to work those areas back. There it is, the finished product. After all that painting, all that sanding, you know, I never could tell at the beginning exactly how it was going to turn out. This was a very experimental paint job, but I am very happy, very pleased. I think it looks really cool. A lot of these little areas, you know, it's one of those things where you can just keep looking at it. I started to call these paint jobs the Psycho-relic, the Psycho-relic paint job. So, and all that pinstripe stuff that I put on, I added that on after, and then I aged it to blend in. I really love the way that turned out. And you can see I'm starting to assemble this guitar. Just flip it over. The back of this thing's kind of cool. If you're wondering what those red and white things are, they're sound bars, and I have the pickups attached to it. If you want an explanation about how that works, I'll put a link up here somewhere in the description about the making of this guitar, because that's a whole video in itself. There you go. Sometimes, you know, you just play around with something, have fun, do things you're not supposed to do, and you end up with something that looks really cool. I've had a lot of fun with this guitar, a lot of fun with this paint job. So thanks for watching this video, and definitely check out the other videos about the making of this thing, because it's been a fun build.